How's it going, ladies and gents? Today I am bringing you some Parasite Eve 2 on the PS1, the game I've been raving about for ages and ages, and this is why. Exploding buildings, Call of Duty helicopters, blonde Japanese women with blue eyes, shower scenes, guy with hand on fire holding his hands up, bacteria, crazy parasites, Eve, small girl, car crash, weird mutant thing coming out of the woman's face, Matrix. It's a great game. It's like a cross between like standard horror survival type things and like a Square RPG. It is made by Square, so what do you expect? This is Velma from Scooby-Doo evolving into some hideous, horrific brown creature thing. The whole premise of Parasite Eve is there's some whole thing about, like, to be honest, I can't properly eloquently explain the story to you because, I'll be honest, it doesn't make that much sense to me. I do understand it to a certain extent, but there's a lot of sort of weird things I don't really put together, so basically there's some parasite called Eve, as you'd expect, which kind of goes between these different organisms, turns them into those things, basically. That is what they call an NMC, I think, neo-mitochondrial creature, and they have ANMCs, which are the artificial ones, and supposedly the government's trying to create some, you know, army of these things to, you know, evolve the human race to the next kind of stage, I guess, is the whole premise of the story. I don't want to give away too much of the story, but it is essentially humans turning into mutants and, you know, causing a lot of havoc in different places. So you play as Aya Brea, who is this blonde woman, half Japanese, half American, whatever. By the way, this puzzle, take a note of that picture. Pause it now if you want and just work out what it means. And I'll come back to that a bit later on. The game, it has sort of elements of like Resident Evil type shooting type stuff. I mean, I've never played Resident Evil, but that's what it seems like when I kind of compare it to another game. Metal Gear Solid is also apparently what the combat system's like, according to my housemate, but what would I know? I played about 5 minutes of Metal Gear Solid, so, you know, you can be the judge of that if you've played that game yourself. Now, by finding a key earlier, I can open up that keyhole and turn off the fountain, and you'll see what that does in a sec. It's a nice blend of, like, third-person shooter, and to be honest, the third-person shooter aspect of it is fun, but it's, I don't know, it's a little bit clunky at times. Like, you can't really free fire without being horribly inefficient. You have to lock onto an enemy and then, you know, just hold down shoot. I don't think you can manually reload unless you waste like an item slot equipping the ammo itself. But, I don't know, the combat system's alright. It is definitely helped out by the parasite energy. Now, Aya here is sort of infused with this whole parasite thing, but she's not sort of degenerated by it, like she's managed to evolve in a certain way to be able to use the power, if that makes any sense at all. Oh, there's a soldier caught in this fountain. Good. We get a free grenade launcher. Nice. This is the inventory. Open it up. I get my SMG as my weapon. You attach different ammo. It's quite good, the system, actually. You have your attachments based on what type of armor you're wearing, and the attachments are just the stuff you can use in battle. If it's not on your attachments list, you can't use it within a battle once it's started. So, ideally, you'll put on, like, potions or different guns you want to swap to. The gun system is pretty cool. You can customize your weapons, you can give a bayonet to your assault rifle, you can give it a flashlight to blind enemies or that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. And they do have sort of a system of EXP and BP. I forget which does which, but one of them is used for upgrading your, what is it, parasite energy skills. There's different categories, like there's, you know, fire ones, there's earth ones. I think they're elemental. Well, whatever they are. I mean, you'll see it in a second. You get, like, healing ones, you get damaging ones, you get status-inducing ones, you get buffing ones, pretty much. So it is a pretty good system. And the other currency you use to just buy new weapons, new armor, that kind of stuff. But overall, it is a pretty hard game. You'll see towards the end I do a little mini boss fight thing, and it's, you know, definitely not the easiest of games. I only just completed it, and even when you do complete it, it unlocks, like, challenge mode or bounty hunter mode or whatever. See, this is what I was talking about. It is the elements, it's wind, earth, water, fire, all that kind of stuff. So you've got, you know, healing stuff, metabolism, which heals statuses like paralysis or blind or whatever. It's definitely got that sort of Final Fantasy feel to it, but definitely the Parasite energy is something which I like about the game. It definitely adds a new dimension. Now remember that puzzle you saw earlier? The code is 561. You get that from the musical notes pattern there. It's not really the hardest of puzzles when you look at it, like if you go back and do it again. But I mean, it's sort of done in a subtle way. Like you wouldn't expect there to be puzzles in this game when you first start playing it. So when I first saw that, I didn't take any notice of it, so I probably missed out on that particular part and had to walk through that bit manually and get hurt on the way. So there's a lot of puzzles in the game which, some of them compulsory, but because it's Square there's going to be a lot of optional stuff too. So overall, a pretty, you know, nice, open-ended-ish kind of game. You progress through, there's loads of different sort of side items you can get. And I'll show you some items towards the end. You can get some pretty beast weapons if you play through on the replay mode, or nightmare mode, or whatever they call it. This is one of the later game bosses, where I'm just basically shooting it. This is the sort of boss you'd find in the third birthday, except not this bloody hard, Jesus Christ! It OHKOs me from like... Okay, that wasn't from full, but... That was a really hard boss. That took me many tries to actually beat the first time, but... Yeah, here's some guy getting eaten by a monster, and I'm gonna use the gunblade from FF8. I don't know why... I mean, yeah, it's the same company, but it just seems so random to put in the game. But it's cool, I'm not complaining, you know? Get to use the gunblade and take this guy out. I'll show you a little plasma cannon thing as well. This thing's ridiculous, like you can paralyze this monster, charge it up, and it does like 1,000 damage. Overall, great game. Definitely have a look on eBay if you want to check it out. Maybe on the PSN store. I don't know if it's there, but... Hope you all enjoyed the video. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.